Shelly said, I assume you will convince Craig to move in with y'all once you get into your new home. K-Baby said, I used to assume that you were bitter because you had no man until Craig came along.
Raven Elyse TV.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Raven. Today, we are going to get a little juicy. We're gonna spill some tea. We're gonna get sassy. We're gonna get dicey. We're gonna get spicy. We're gonna get, I don't know, it might get crazy up in here because as you can tell by the title, I am finally going to be doing the responding to assumptions about me, answering your assumptions, whatever assumptions video, whatever it's called. This has been like a trend that's going around on YouTube recently. I've seen like every single YouTuber that I subscribe to has done this video, and I wanted to just jump on the bandwagon. And basically this video is just a way to let your followers roast you, literally asking you guys to tell me what your assumptions are so I can let you know if they're true or not. So I'm just gonna go through randomly. I really haven't even looked at these at all. I have no idea what kind of crazy things you guys are gonna assume about me. I have a few like main ideas because a lot of this like Q&A, asking you guys for questions type of thing, I always know like the top 3 questions that you guys are going to ask. It's very predictable. It's always the same 3 things. So I kind of already am prepared for that, but every other like random thing that you guys might assume, I don't know. First assumption that popped up right off the bat is from my friend Taylor. She said, I assume you are very thick and very busy, which is like a little inside joke that we started. Very thick and very busy. It's like I'm thriving, I'm thick, I'm busy, I'm eating good, I'm booked, I'm busy, and I'm kind of doing okay right now. I'm supposed to be on this weight gain journey of like actually getting a little bit more thick in real life, and that hasn't been going too well because I haven't been prioritizing and I haven't been trying very hard. So the thick part is not really true, but the busy part is actually pretty true right now. I've actually had a lot going on. I have a lot of like brand deals and sponsorships, and I am feeling kind of booked and busy right now. Turner Camila said, I assume you are very different on camera. No, not really. I mean, I definitely kind of have different personalities depending on what video I'm filming. If I'm doing like a sponsored video that needs to be a little bit more professional, of course I will do that. If I'm doing like a really funny video with Craig, I'm gonna show more of my goofy side. If I'm doing a serious video, so it just kind of depends on what video you're watching. You might see a different side of me, but my overall personality, the way I talk, the way I act, the words that I use, like the slang words and stuff like that, it's pretty much the same exact thing that you're gonna get if you were to meet me in person. Kayla J said, I assume you are a big kid at heart. Yeah, I would say so. I can be mature if I need to be mature, but I do like a lot of like childish little kid things. I like to do little kid activities, arts and crafts. I like to watch little kid type videos on YouTube, little kid snacks. Like I love Pop-Tarts and fruit snacks. So a lot of things like that that are usually meant for kids, I still enjoy. But like I'm 25, like I'm not that old yet. So I feel like it's not that weird for me to still be watching cartoons and eating Pop-Tarts and stuff. I don't know. K-Baby said, I used to assume that you were bitter because you had no man until Craig came along. I was bitter? You thought I was a single, bitter, mad, single girl? I really wasn't. I swear on everything. This sounds so cliche. This sounds like what every girl tries to say. But when I was single, after I wasn't with Ziya's dad anymore, there was like that chunk of time when Ziya was a baby and I was single, and I actually, you know, of course I was going through my own drama and different things in terms of being a new mom and stuff like that and being a single mom. But in terms of being a single woman, I enjoyed it. I felt like I was thriving. I felt like I was focused. I felt like I was prioritizing the right things. I felt like my business was growing. I felt like, you know, like everything was just on the up and up because I wasn't worried about no F boys. I wasn't worried about relationship drama. I wasn't, you know, distracted by just trying to be with my boyfriend all the time. Like I really felt like that was time for me to focus on my child, focus on my business, focus on getting my life together, and I feel like it worked. So I feel like it was a really good time for me when I was single. Janessa Renee said, I assume you're a sweetheart, but you have a I don't take no shit side. I don't know if people would even describe me as a sweetheart in the first place. Like, I would have hoped that people think that I'm a nice person and that they would describe me as a nice person, but I'm kind of not very outwardly emotional in terms of like showing affection and being like, oh my god, I love you, oh my god, you look so good, oh my god, yes, oh my god, yeah. Like, I don't have that sort of energy exuding out of me. I know I don't. I'll just be honest about that. So I don't know if people would describe me as a sweetheart or if I would describe myself as a sweetheart. I try to be a nice person, okay? But I don't know if sweetheart is the right word. And then she said, you have a I don't take no shit side. Again, not sure if anything you're saying is really true, because I tend to be very forgiving. I tend to always like give people the benefit of the doubt, and oh, there's probably another reason why they did that. Oh, let me give them another chance. Oh, let me try to work through it. Oh, da 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 da. And that has gotten me in trouble a lot of times. So maybe nowadays I've learned my lesson and I don't take as much shit. But generally speaking, I think I kind of take too much shit. Someone said, I assume you were never a crazy party person in college or high school. Yeah, I would say that's pretty much true. I was never a crazy party person. I definitely went through my phase like senior year of high school going into freshman year of college, especially like freshman, sophomore year of college, where I was just like new to the whole partying thing, new to like never, you know what I mean, like never experienced that before, just wanted to see what it was all about, you know, drinking and looking cute and meeting boys and all that stuff. Like, especially when you first get to college, it's kind of like you just want to experiment, you just want to see like what it's all about because you're curious. And I definitely went through that phase, but I never was someone who like was constantly partying, throwing house parties, drinking every weekend, getting drunk. It was very like sporadic for me because like you can't really party that much when you can't drive, you don't have a car, you don't have transportation, you don't have that many friends. The friends that you do have are not really party type people. So it's like I wasn't really even in that environment to be a super crazy partier. But I did have my moments, like randomly, sporadically, I would have like a crazy night. KWM537 said, I assume you get tired of explaining yourself to people who judge you based off of videos. Yeah, that definitely gets annoying when people, it's not just that people judge me off of videos, it's that they like don't even watch the whole video, or they're not even listening to what I'm really saying, or they're just going off of one little video and they're not even taking the time to like, I have like so many videos on my channel. I have so much information about myself on the internet that if you really cared that much, you could just like look it up, Google it, watch another video and find out if that's thing is true or not. But people just like watch one little 5-second clip and then they're just like going off on me, and it's like, bro, take the time to at least try to get to know me before you judge me. Layros said, I assume you went public with your relationship with Craig for YouTube views. Interesting way that she phrased that question, because she didn't say, I assume you're just with Craig for YouTube views. She said, I assume you went public with it for YouTube views, which is technically, now don't hold this to me too strongly, but technically this is true, because what other reason, why would I put my relationship publicly if I'm not going to put it on my YouTube channel? Like, that kind of goes hand in hand, like going public, putting it on my YouTube channel, and then I get YouTube views. Like, I kind of can't help that. He's going to be part of my life. I am a YouTuber. He's going to be in the videos. It is what it is. I chose to be, well, we together, of course this is a conversation that we had to have together, but we chose to be public with it and post videos and post photos on Instagram, just because like that's what I do for a living. Like, I don't want to have to hide something. I don't want to have to go through all that trouble of trying to be mysterious and covering his face and da-da-da. Like, that works for some people, but for me, I'm very, very open on my channel. I'm open with everything else. Literally the whole like theme of my channel is my personal life, so it's very hard for me to like leave such a big part of it out, and I don't want to. Olivia said, I assume you are ready for a second child. Now, no. Short answer is no, I'm not ready for a second child, because I'm not ready right now anytime soon. I do want a second child. I've always said that. I always have wanted at least 2 children. I don't want Ziya to be an only child, etc., etc. But do I want to have that baby like right now, today, get pregnant tomorrow? No, I do not, because I have too much going on right now, and this would not be the ideal time for me to be pregnant or to be bringing in a newborn into everything else that I already have going on. So I would prefer to wait some years, but yes, I do want another child. Ashton said, I assume you like to waste money on bougie stuff. Not true. I do not like to waste money, period. Anybody who knows me personally would tell you that I'm actually kind of cheap. I don't like to buy expensive stuff very often at all. It takes a lot for me to like really want something or be looking at something over and over and over again before I finally spend the money on it. I'm the type of person who like, I'll spend $500, but I'll go to Forever 21 and buy 45 things for $500, and then I feel like I'm getting my money's worth. But I will not go to Chanel and just buy one little thing for $500. Like, no. Now there are exceptions to the rule. Like I said, if I really want something, or it's like a special occasion, or it's like a special piece of furniture that I know is going to be really nice, like I know how to like save up for the right things. But in terms of just like every Saturday going to the mall, hitting the Gucci store, buying a belt, buying a shoe, like that's not, I don't like to spend money like that. One place that you will be seeing me probably spending a lot of money is in my house though. And that's just kind of a given because furniture and stuff is expensive anyway. But I told myself that I am gonna let myself like splurge a little bit more, just because like I'm really excited about this house. It really means a lot to me, and I really want to like treat myself to like really nice things and like not just get the cheapest thing from IKEA, you know what I mean? So you will probably see me being a little bit more bougie when it comes to my house. Shanae said, I assume you be lying to us and sneaking cheese. I refuse to believe that anyone can live without cheese. I really am on a dairy-free diet. Like I've actually gotten a lot better with being able to easily not eat dairy. Of course there are some exceptions. Like I think even in that last video that I posted, like there was sour cream in the recipe and I didn't feel like messing with it, so I just like let it slide, and I had a little bit of sour cream on my taco. But for the most part, on a regular day, like I do not keep cheese in the house. I don't keep cheese flavored things. I don't have milk. I don't have regular ice cream. I don't have regular cream cheese. I don't have regular coffee creamer. I don't have anything like that in the house. And I found like vegan alternatives, or I just don't eat it. And honestly, like if you were to give me a regular like cereal with regular cow's milk in it, I would be disgusted. Like I wouldn't even want to eat that. Like I prefer almond milk over regular cow's milk 100% now. Ruby said, I assume you don't smoke. Correct. I am not a recreational weed smoker type person. Art by Trinae said, I assume you relied on men for happiness and didn't know how to be alone, but once you had Ziya, that changed. That is very deep. Basically, I would say, I don't want to say I relied on men for happiness specifically, but I definitely relied on like outside sources for happiness, whether it be like having that one best friend, having a boyfriend was a big thing for me, or have whatever it might be that I felt like I needed that to complete me. And I didn't feel happy like alone. I didn't have a lot of self-confidence. I didn't have good self-esteem. This was all throughout like high school and like college pretty much. And I was struggling with depression, so that's pretty much where all that came from. And yeah, definitely when I had Ziya changed my life in a lot of different ways. Again, I know that's very cliche, corny, everybody says that when you have kids it changes your life, but it really does. But like I was saying earlier about being single, when I had Ziya, I just felt like that was a time for me to realize my own worth and my own power as a person, and that I can do things by myself. I can live alone. I can run my business. I can do this. I can do that. I can be a mom. I can be happy. I can be successful. I can do it because I can believe in myself, and I can just be confident by myself. And of course, I've always had support from my family. Like my mom especially has always been around to support me, but there are times when she's not here, or she's out of town, or she's busy, or whatever, and there's tons of time where it's literally just me and Ziya. Like that's what it is most of the time. It's just me and Ziya. So I had to learn how to be happy by myself, and how to be confident, and how to feel like secure with that. And that was like a survival instinct that I had to learn in order to be Ziya's mom. XO Maricelis, I don't know if I said that right, said that I assume that you're more financially set than others your age. I mean, yeah, you guys can probably just guess that. This feels really weird to say this out loud or to talk about this. I mean, I'm 25, so a lot of people my age are like, they're fresh out of college, they're trying to get a job, or they might be trying to start their own business, or they're just, that's like a very like iffy age where you're still trying to figure things out, like when you're in your 20s. So a lot of people are not financially stable yet. A lot of people are not making that much money yet. And I was just lucky enough to have basically already started my own thing, my own business, meaning my YouTube channel and everything that I do online. I already had started doing that in high school. So by the time that I had graduated college, I was already a full-time YouTuber and I was already like making that full-time income. So I did have quite a bit of a head start on most people. At the same time, there are people who are younger than me, who are definitely way, way richer than me. There are people who are my age who are doing just as good as I am, if not more. I have friends who are, like I said, either younger than me or the same age as me who I know make more money than me. So it's not like I'm at the top of the food chain at all, but I do pretty good. London Girl said, I assume you want another baby soon, a boy. Wrong. I do not want a boy. I mean, I just want a healthy baby, you know, whatever, we get it. But if I had to choose, I would choose a girl just because I love the fact that Ziya is a girl. I like hoped and prayed and dreamed, and I feel like I manifested the fact that Ziya turned out to be a girl or whatever. Like, I just knew from the moment I found out I was pregnant, I was like, it's a girl. It's a girl. It's gotta be a girl. It's gonna be a girl. It better be a girl. It's gonna be a girl. And it was a girl. So I feel like I low-key would be able to do the same thing. Like, if I set my mind, this sounds so crazy, but I feel like if I set my mind to wanting another daughter, I'll have another daughter. Brandy said, I assume you're extremely shy in person and at meet and greets. I wouldn't say I'm extremely shy anymore, but I'm definitely socially awkward. I've always been awkward. I've always been like, I was really, really shy when I was younger, and I tried to like really grow out of it and be more outgoing and be less awkward and like speak up more and talk to people, just because that's like a really important skill to have as an adult, and especially with what I do. So I've tried to really work on it and be better about it, but I still am kind of shy. I still am definitely awkward. I still have a big issue with like not being able to carry a conversation in person. Like when people meet me, like I might just be out at the mall or something and a subscriber will meet me and I'll be like, oh, hi, nice to meet you, da, 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 da. And then I'm just like, I don't know what to say next or what to do next. And like people sometimes take that as me being like really rude and like I don't want to talk to you, but it's really just that I don't know what to say. Miss Drea said, I assume you're very good and frugal with your money. So like I said earlier, I'm really not a big spender usually. I do have my exceptions, but I'm kind of cheap. I don't like to spend a lot of money. I don't like to buy just like a bunch of bougie designer things. And my parents have told me, because they're the only ones who really know like what's really going on with my finances besides me. They've told me that I am doing really good with my money. They're very proud of me. They're very like always telling me like, wow, like you really save up a lot. Like they tell me that I'm doing a good job. You know, I have good credit. I have great credit actually. And you know, I like to keep a hefty savings account. Honestly, when it comes to that type of stuff, it stems from a very specific anxiety that I have about not wanting to go broke. So I never want to be in a situation where I just like go bankrupt, spend all my money, end up broke. Like, I don't know. I'm very like freaked out about that. So I tend to like over prepare and like overly save money just in case some crazy thing happens, because I have anxiety about that. So yes, I do try to be smart with my money. And I know a lot of you guys are waiting for me to answer one of these questions that has something to do with Ziya's dad. A lot of the questions in here have something to do with Ziya's dad. They're saying, I assume you don't talk to Ziya's dad. I assume he's not really in her life. I assume you don't talk to his family. I assume this, I assume that. And as I've kind of been saying in a lot of my like Q&A type content recently, I'm just not really gonna touch on that stuff too much. I just don't want to tell you guys that stuff. I don't feel like I have to. I don't feel like it's necessary right now. I don't feel like I need to go into detail and give you guys the whole ins and outs of everything that is going on with that part of my life. So that is why I purposely ignore those questions, even though I know they will be asked every single time over and over again. I am ignoring them on purpose. I assume you only had a baby because you were bored and lonely. Does that even sound like anything that anyone would ever say seriously? A whole baby? Do you guys know how much, like, what? Do you guys know how much work it is to be a parent? To have a baby? Having a baby is not like having a baby doll or even having a puppy or anything like that. Having a baby is the biggest, number one, most extreme responsibility, in my opinion, that you can have on the face of this earth. It is the hardest job you can have on the face of this earth. It is the most time consuming. It is the most stressful. It is the most mind twisting, thinking about the fact that you're bringing in another human being and you have to be responsible for basically the whole way that their whole life turns out. Why would anybody do that just because they're bored? No. And I've actually seen this comment more than once, which is why I think it's just like so ridiculous that people really think like, oh, she just went and got pregnant and had that baby just because she was bored and lonely and she just wanted to like make videos about it. First of all, let's just rewind a little bit. Let's just really set the story straight. I got pregnant on accident. I've told you guys that from the jump. I got pregnant on complete and utter, did not think, did not want, did not try for this to happen, accident. So if I was doing something on purpose because I was bored and lonely, that doesn't really match up. Chrissy said, I assume that you never graduated college. Please hold. Well, according to this sheet of paper, I definitely graduated college. And for anyone new here or who doesn't know, I got a bachelor's degree in fine arts for fashion design. I took 4 years of classes because I wanted to be a fashion designer, got my degree, and became a YouTuber instead. And I did actually see in here that a lot of people were saying like, I assume you're working on a clothing line, I assume you're gonna come out with a clothing line, I assume you still wanna have a clothing line, I assume you still wanna be a fashion designer, do something with fashion. And yes, that is true. I do still want to freaking use this very expensive piece of paper to my advantage and use what I learned at school and be a fashion designer, have a clothing line or something along those lines. I do still want to do that, and I do still feel like I can do that, and I still have time and I still have resources, and I still, you know, it'll come when it comes. I assume you don't spend as much time with Ziya that you let on. So I guess they're saying like on social media, it makes it seem like I spend a lot of time with Ziya, but in real life I don't spend time with Ziya. Let me give you, well, first of all, any of my mommy routines, like my morning routine, my nighttime routine videos, my daily routine videos, those are all real. They might be a little bit like more structured than what it is in real life on a normal day, but those are all like a real view of what my daily life looks like. And also I work from home, and also Ziya only goes to preschool now 3 days a week. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, like for example right now, Ziya's at school and I'm here working, filming videos, editing videos, doing what I do to earn a living, and then I go pick her up from school and I'm with her at home for the whole rest of the evening. We do our nighttime routine just like I've showed in my videos, and then on Tuesdays and Thursdays she doesn't even go to school, so she's here with me all day she's with me. And then like on weekends you see that I spend a lot of time like with my mom and my family, and so we kind of all come together and we might do stuff, and my mom will like, you know, be involved. And there are times when my mom watches Ziya when I need to like specifically go do something, have plans, or I have an event that I have to go to, or I want to take like one night out. Like you guys know I don't go out that much. You can tell from my freaking Instagram stories that I don't go out that much. So I might have like one night a month. Usually it's like when I'm with Craig and we're like having a date night, and I'll have my mom watch Ziya, or I'll be going on a business trip or a business event and then my mom will watch Ziya. But other than that, like I just said, me and Ziya, we are together all the time. Sally said, I assume you will convince Craig to move in with y'all once you get into your new home. Convince him? You make it sound like I gotta drag him in and force him into my house. I will say that Craig and I have discussed our long distance situation. He lives in Houston, I live in Austin. It's not like super far away, it's not like he lives in China or something, but it is long distance, and we have had that conversation of, you know, where do we go from here? And so we're talking about it, we're discussing it, we're making our own plan on our own time, and of course if you keep watching my vlogs, you're bound to see pretty much whatever ends up happening. But again, of course, it is a discussion. Of course, it is something that is on the table when you're in a serious relationship. These are the important topics that you have to discuss. Adam said, I assume you will have another plastic surgery. No, I'm not planning on having any more plastic surgery. I don't want my butt done. I don't want my nose done. I don't want anything done. I got my boobs done. That's what I wanted, and that's it. I assume you want a G-Wagon because you think you're rich. First of all, what does it mean when you think you're rich? I feel like you're either you have money or you don't. You can't really think you have money if you don't have the money. I mean, check your bank account. You'll get the answer right there. But I always wanted a G-Wagon ever since Kylie Jenner. I know. Kill me, shoot me, hate me. I know. But I truthfully always wanted a G-Wagon ever since Kylie Jenner showed her first G-Wagon. I think that was back in like 20, I don't even know, like she was like just barely old enough to drive and she like had a G-Wagon, and it was so cute. And I don't know anything about cars. I don't care anything about cars. I like literally, you could say a car name to me and I do not know what it looks like, but that was like the one car that I ever saw that I just thought was so cute and just so like I just liked it. And so ever since then I've always wanted a G-Wagon. But of course, because Kylie Jenner and all these celebrities popularized it, a lot of social media influencers started getting it, and it just became like the social media car. Like when you think you get some money, you gonna get a G-Wagon. And it became like very stereotypical and kind of got like a bad reputation to it, but I still like the car. Like I like what I like. You're not gonna make me not like it just because you tell me not to like it because everybody else, like that's stupid. I like what I like. So I do still like the G-Wagon. I would still love to own a G-Wagon. I went shopping for G-Wagons in that vlog that I posted, but I also looked at some other more practical cars because G-Wagons are like really expensive and it's a whole thing. So I'm pretty sure, I'm like 99.9% sure that I'm going to be a smarter person. I'm going to be a more practical person. And I'm going to go for something that's a little bit less of a waste of money. I assume your parents don't like Craig. False. A lot of people thought that I was being serious in the lie detector test video when he was like asking me, have you ever dated someone that your parents hated? And I was like, yeah, like everyone I date my parents hate. And he was like, everyone? Like talking about him. Craig has met my parents and he has been around them more than once, and he knows, and y'all should also know that my parents do not hate Craig. They've never had an issue with it. I remember when like I was first telling my mom about Craig, she was like very chill and very cool about it, and she was just like, sure, would love to meet him. She met him, she was like, oh, he was very polite, like he made a good first impression and he really like presented himself well, is what my mom said, like for her first impression. So even from the jump, like she was saying positive things, and yeah, they like him. They don't have issues with him. They don't hate him. It's more so other people that I've dated that they really don't like. I assume you're gonna buy a new car before the end of 2019. Yes, I have to wait until I close on my house because you're not supposed to make any big purchases when you're in the process of buying a house. It just like messes up your credit and I don't know, all type of stuff. So I'm just waiting until I'm like moved into my house, and then I will be buying a new car as soon as possible. I assume you can twerk it for a real one. I can kind of do a little baby twerk, okay? Some of you guys might have seen like in a couple of Snapchats, I think like when I was out in Miami, I had a Snapchat where I was like twerking a little bit in the club. I have a little booty, I'm tall, I'm lanky, I do not have the right body type for twerking, and I'm also not that great of a dancer, and I'm also just an awkward person. But you know, the right song comes on, if I have the right outfit on, the right thing that's like scooping the booty in the right way, I can do a little twerk for a real one. A lot of people are saying like, I assume that you're atheist, I assume that you're agnostic, I assume you don't believe in God, I assume that you will never like go back to church, all this stuff about like religion. And I feel like I've already answered this question several times on my channel, but for my new followers and people who were asking those questions, I am a spiritual person. I have my own personal spiritual beliefs that do not fall into any category. They don't fall into any label. They don't fall into any name. They don't fall into any church. They don't fall into any book. They don't fall into any doctrine. I am my own person with my own thoughts and my own beliefs and my own feelings in my heart. And I am not the type of person who could ever see myself subscribing to a label, a religion, a church, a book, a group. Like, I just cannot fit into any one box. I respect all the boxes and I learn from all the boxes, and I try to educate myself on a lot of different religions and spiritualities and different ways of living and different ways of thinking. Like, I'm actually very interested in that type of stuff. I find it very interesting to like I said, learn about different religions. And you know, lately my big thing is like astrology. I've been getting into astrology recently, and I go through phases where like I just like to learn about different stuff, and I kind of take little pieces from everything all over the world, all the people that I meet, all the stuff that I learn, all the stuff that I read, and I take the pieces that resonate with me and I turn it into my own little thing inside of myself. And so I would say that yes, I am spiritual, and yes, I believe that there's something. I don't know what it is, I don't know what it's called. It's like I don't have a label or a name to put on it. I'm not a satanic devil worshiper. I'm not the opposite of a Christian. I feel like that's how people think of it. Like, a lot of people who like come to me with these comments and messages, stuff like that, they feel like either you are or you aren't. Like, you're the good or you're the bad. You're on top or you're on bottom. And they kind of like have it very black and white, but I feel like I'm more so in the middle or off to the side, or I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense. Stephanie TW said, I assume you will move to LA. Wrong. I'm never moving to LA unless for some strange reason I just absolutely have to, which I don't think would ever happen. I do not want to live in LA. That is not my jam. Lene 1922 and about 60 million other people in these questions said, I assume you want to marry Craig in the future. I assume you will marry Craig. I assume you plan on marrying Craig. I assume you want to get married to Craig. You gonna marry Craig. You want to be Mrs. Anya. You want to be his wife. I'll put it this way. Craig and I's relationship is real. Craig and I's relationship is serious. It has to be serious for him to be around Ziya. That's like the rule. And he is around Ziya, and we have taken those steps, and we are taking steps forward, and we are growing closer together every day, and we're like really like both serious about a relationship. Another thing that people are saying though are that like, I assume you don't want to get married. I assume you don't believe in marriage. I assume like all that stuff, because I have previously talked about how I don't really believe in marriage, or I don't really like place a lot of weight or desire on getting married. Like, getting married, like from a legal standpoint, signing the paperwork, having the big wedding, has never been super important to me, has never been like my dream. Like, you know, a lot of girls just dream of their wedding and they just want to get married, and it's like the whole traditional thing. I'm just not traditional in that sense, so it's harder for me to like get excited about that, because I've never been the type of person to be excited about that. But at the same time, like, it's a big subject, okay? It's a big subject, and I have fluctuating feelings about it all the time. I still have fluctuating feelings about just the concept of marriage in general, and that's just not something that I can like just tell you a yes or no answer right now, because I don't want to like sit up here and be like, oh, I'm never gonna do that, and then I turn around and I do it like 5 years later, because things change, opinions change, your life changes. So I don't know. I like this one. Classic Jade said, I assume you and Craig will take things to the next level on your own time. Yes, exactly. On our own time. But yeah, I think that's enough assumptions for one day. I feel exhausted. I feel like some of y'all just read me to filth, but hopefully I answered some of the interesting ones. I don't know, I try not to be too repetitive. I don't like when my Q&A type videos are like really repetitive. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on my next videos, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.